Hi everybody, Brad Satin here with Focus Media Services. Over the course of at least the last week, probably coming on 2 weeks now, some of our clients have asked us about best practices with regard to getting out information, kind of crisis communications dealing with COVID-19. And rather than, I think, answer individually, I thought there might be some benefit to kind of creating this little webcast here, because certainly how you handle this crisis is going to be remembered by your employees, by your clients, by your stakeholders, and what you put out there right now is important. They'll remember it later. There is, of course, a lot happening right now. The safety of your employees, managing their anxiety, making sure they're informed, and of course, keeping your business functioning. That is a lot to juggle. There have been a bunch of press conferences, obviously nationwide and locally. We're here in Philadelphia, and some of them I've had the opportunity to attend just to kind of gather this information, and that's part of what I wanted to share with you right now. Had a chance about a week ago to speak to a leading anxiety doctor at a major hospital here in the city of Philadelphia, and he talks a little bit about anxiety and the fact that some anxiety is not necessarily a bad thing. Anxiety, of course, is what keeps us washing our hands and maybe staying away from those large groups. But the concern is when anxiety shifts to panic and panic attacks. You start sweating. There's a shortness of breath, feeling like you're not able to cope. And that's why, first and foremost, it is important that as a business, you're honest with your employees about what steps exactly you're taking, that there is an open line of communication, that employees who need to talk have a person or place to go to actually communicate. Really, the communications flow right now between the employer and the employees is going to set the stage for the confidence they have in your plan in getting through all of this. And the idea here is to establish a process to communicate information, because otherwise what takes over is anxiety, fear, rumors, and misinformation. If you're not already doing it, certainly you want to go to the government website. That's the CDC's website at cdc.gov. You can also get a lot of local information through your state websites and your local government. They really are the best and most immediate sources of information. Now let's talk about a few recommendations with regard to a safe working environment here. A lot of this, of course, needless to say, is common sense here. Anybody who is sick should not be coming to work. If they get sick at work, they need to leave immediately. Your sick leave policies, they need to be very flexible. Employees, of course, need to be aware of them, including staying home when a family member is sick. One of the things that's important right now is you probably should not require a doctor's note from an employee. Obviously, doctor's offices is swamped. A visit to a doctor's office may not necessarily be the answer. So for the time being, I think the policy should probably be a note is not necessary. More than ever right now, you need to practice good hygiene in the office. You want to provide plenty of hand sanitizer, encourage lots of hand washing, disposable wipes for work surfaces. Also be sure to wipe those countertops and the doorknobs several times a day. Now, as far as an infectious disease outbreak response plan, it is important to consider several things right now if you already haven't. One is that everyone should be on the lookout for work-related exposures and health risks. They need to self-report or report anything that seems to be a threat. You want to be on the lookout for gaps in your plan. Be sure to take corrective action. Consider temporarily changing some policies, like, if at all possible, have your employees telecommute. And potentially for those who have to come in, maybe consider staggered work shifts to ensure that all employees aren't there at the same time. As an employer, you want to be sure you've identified your essential business functions and critical jobs, and then come up with a plan in case there is a time of high absenteeism. You want to make sure that if a key employee is not at work, there are others who have that kind of cross-training to ensure they can pick up the slack. And we mentioned this before, you certainly want to establish a plan to communicate information to employees. Little things matter, like at high work traffic areas. You want to have notes up reminding people to constantly wash their hands, use hand sanitizer. You want to have a trash can, plenty of them around, with open receptacles so nobody has to touch anything in order to throw some trash away. Certainly these are some scary times right now, but you got to remember how you handle them as an organization will kind of define your values and ultimately the perception that people have about who you are and what you do. If you handle it well, if you handle it poorly, people are going to remember this. Final note here, it seems that everything right now is getting canceled, and that does leave a hole in getting information out there. We might want to recommend moving your events online. It's easy enough to view something on a computer. There are services, live stream events that can be done. This is at least one way to continue keeping the information flowing to people through video. So if we can help in that respect, let us know. COVID-19, obviously, it's a threat that's changing day by day at this point. frankly, hour by hour. And you have to remember that your employees are relying on you for some real information to provide potentially some normalcy in their lives. They're looking for honesty, they're looking for compassion, they're looking for understanding, and how you respond now will certainly mean something later. So if we could help in any way, please let us know. Again, my name is Brad Satin with Focus Media Services.